Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am BorderWise and welcome back to From the Depths and welcome to a new update. First one in a long time and this is a big one. It's the Plasma update, otherwise known as the Stable Update 3.7.2. So obviously the biggest thing about this update is the Plasma weapons, and we'll be covering that in detail. I'll be reading out pretty much all of the patch notes apart from the less interesting fixes, which are still important. Thank you for fixing the game, devs. And there'll be some closing comments on like what my initial first impression of plasma weapons are. So this is my first plasma weapon. I just built it and made my usual kind of pancakey thing. And, well, I kind of like them. I'm very zen about them. But let's actually read stuff out, and as you can see we are shooting at marauders, because why not? This is not the actual job that plasma weapons, have. They're not really meant to be shooting at things which are lightly armored. That's kind of overkill for them. So let's get into it. So, reading from the official patch notes, as we're watching this thing do plasma. Alright, so, plasma weapon parts are very dense, roughly on par with missiles. Running cost is halfway between non-rail APS and particle cannons, which depends on the projectile speed. We'll get to that in a minute. System uses both energy and ammunition, so you need both. Like railguns, basically. Projectiles aren't affected by gravity, can't be shot down. Damage is reduced by planar shields, reduction range is 3 to 30%. So, just so everyone is aware, I checked the tooltip for planar shields. They don't actually mention plasma weapons yet, so that might be something that will get changed, because new players to the game are not going to know that, which will be a little bit unfair. Projectiles are fast, as you can probably tell. It goes zip. Speed range is between 85 to 2,404 meters per second, and only a small energy investment is needed to reach 1,000 to 1,500 meters per second. So, to demonstrate that, this plasma gun has max speed, and, well, it only really needs, 800 extra energy for that. And as you can see, you can drop this down, and about 1,000 meters per second is, uses about 140 energy, which actually is much better than a railgun. In order to get, a big railgun shell to that speed, you really gotta put some juice into it. So, plasma weapons are kind of efficient in that way, I guess. I'm getting ahead of myself. Clamshell. Relatively accurate inaccuracy range is 0.03 to 0.35 before instability, so this is a very accurate weapon. Shots lose low amounts of damage to distance, lots of damage in water. So straight up, plasma weapons really suck at shooting at anything below the waterline. So already, they're not an anti-submarine weapon at all. They're effective against dense clusters of blocks. Big plasma shots are very effective against thick walls of armor, and this is due to how their damage propagates. It's mentioned later. It has a fixed armor-piercing value of 100, so basically heavy armor does nothing. It does full damage even to stacked heavy armor, and this basically means that ring shields are completely useless against them as well. Once again, getting ahead of myself. Fired with a CWIS controller can hit cram shells and missiles. APS is generally better though. I'm not sure APS is better, APS is probably more cost effective, but in my little testing, plasma cannon CWIS is actually really good. In fact, I'm gonna skip ahead and show you that. Let's be efficient, so let's do this. Here's our CWIS setup. Just our little turret here, and let's spawn in. You know what's really fun to watch this thing fire against is the Rook. So it fires damn quickly. It's got the rapid fire thingy. Man, I'm getting my head. I'm all over the place. I'm recording much earlier in the morning than I usually do. And as you can see, zap, 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 zap. It can completely shut down, well, a Rook, which isn't that hard, but also, yeah, it's pretty good. Alright, so while we're just letting this thing go pew pew pew, plasma generators fill chambers with plasma, collectors get it from the chambers and send it to the Mendlet, Mendlet sends it through accelerators and possibly an emitter. So, to give you an idea what the hell that means, we need to show off the internals of this. The Tetris for plasma weapons is pretty straightforward, actually. It's much easier than APS, I feel. Maybe that's just because I have like over 4,000 hours in this game. Yes, I do have a life shut up. And yeah, this is pretty straightforward. It's just you have a collector, and then you attach chambers to the collectors, and you attach generators to the chambers, and that's basically it. It's a little bit finicky figuring out like how the chambers actually hook up to everything, but yeah, it's it's easier than cram, I feel, because it's hard to stuff up a plasma gun. Each cubic meter of chambers can hold exactly one charge. Shots can use multiple charges to fire a stronger projectile, so you can charge up and do the big zap. Accelerator length determines how much energy can be used to speed up the projectiles. So that's the barrel, essentially. You extend that, shot goes faster. Each charge and energy used for acceleration heats up the accelerator. Higher temperatures increase in accuracy. Above 1000 degrees, the cannon must stop firing. So cooling is a thing with this, like APS. Energy can be used to cool the accelerators, or relatively expensive heat sinks installed on them can add passive cooling. So you can use energy, or you can use heat sinks. This thing has heat sinks on it right now, so it's got a little bit of passive cooling. God mode, I forgot to turn that on. That's how well this CWIS is working, actually. It's just, you know, God mode, you know, managed to cover it. Also, we've apparently, we're bringing down this rook quite nicely. What was I doing? Cooling is less effective below and more effective above 500 degrees centigrade. So basically there's diminishing returns to cooling. At high temperatures it cools a lot faster, and at lower temperatures it cools more slowly. Single big shots with a low RPM are more accurate than multiple small ones, and that's, well, basically just because of the cooling. It gets more inaccurate the more it heats up. If plasma damage destroys a block initially hit, a plasma explosion created. So this is the important bit. This is how plasma is kind of unique among weapon systems. Plasma explosions spread cell by cell in the 6 cardinal directions. They can't move into air, but can spread through the hole left by blocks destroyed in the same explosion. So what this means is that when a plasma shell hits something, if it destroys the block it hits, it basically spreads the damage around a lot more. So let's just lock onto the rook here so you can see what's happening. Each destroyed block generates more plasma and gives 50% of the damage spent on it back to the explosion. So basically you destroy a block, if it gets 50% of that damage creates an explosion that can trigger more explosions. So what this effectively makes is it makes essentially a sphere of doom wherever the plasma hits. This fast-firing plasma cannon doesn't show it off very well, but what does show it off very well is one of the other ones I've made. So let's do that, let's skip ahead to number 3. I'm doing this completely out of order. This is the biggest plasma gun I've made so far. The damage is a little bit ridinky-dink. It does almost 300,000 damage per shot, and this is a very expensive system, just so you were aware. This is, there are entire ships that cost less than this one plasma gun. So I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to spawn in something that is a bit of a brick. Let's spawn in... It's fun to shoot at. Let's shoot at the Apollo, because that's fun. Alright, so, to demonstrate what the damage propagation actually looks like, so here we have, on the Apollo, we have like a lump. So, if we lock onto there... Whoa! Well, okay, yeah, that did it. So, where did that hit? It's actually kind of hard to tell where it hit. Alright, so there it went. So, it hit on the side here, but the damage propagated sideways and down. You'll notice that this thing up here, completely untouched, but the damage propagated sideways in there, and it did like something like, well, it did over 40,000 damage. So that thing down there fires about once every, what was it? It's like fires once every 10 seconds. So this is a charge shot plasma gun, and it makes a hell of a mess. Alright. Alright, so with each 1 meter radius increase, the explosion looks at the cells affected and divides damage equally between them. Let's lock onto something fun. Is that gonna fall off immediately? No, it isn't. Each destroyed... No. If the next 1 meter radius has less affected cells than what we expected when hitting a flat wall, the total damage is reduced. So, basically the damage is reduced just with, like, air gaps in it. So, good against dense concentration of stuff, less good against anything with gaps in it. Damage is increased with more blocks. So basically, yeah, concentrated blocks, the explosions propagate more. 3 special emitters that modify the cannon's behavior, the stabilizer, and the splitter, and only one can be installed at the end of the accelerator. So, in a weird way, what is the term for it? Emitters, call it that. So the emitters are kind of like the fusing system of, whoa, yeah, see what happens when it hits dead on in a good spot? Block confetti. So the emitters are kind of like the fuses of plasma cannons. They're what determines what the thing's actual job is. So let's just go through there. The destabilizer removes the ability to use multiple charges per shot and reduces AP from 100 to 20. Can fire 2 shots for 1 charge. Total raw damage per charge is 2 times 100% of a standard shot. So it basically gets more efficient in terms of damage, but has considerably reduced AP, and that's what this thing is using, by the way. So it's got, at the end here, it's got a destabilizer, and so this is the plasma menu. So you build kind of from the middle left. So you start with the mantlet, which is like the firing piece, and these are connectors which connect the mantlet to the collectors. The collectors have chambers attached to them, and generators are attached to the chambers. Pretty straightforward. It's a little bit like laser Tetris. In fact, plasma cannons are like a weird combination of like almost every single other weapon category, really. Especially particle cannons, lasers, advanced cannons, and crams in terms of how you think about them. At least that's the impression I get so far. So we've got the destabilizer, and that just makes the thing fire fast. The stabilizer reduces damage lost with range by 30%. So that is your sniper fuse, I guess. Weird way to say it. These blocks also look really cool. So yeah, that's what the big plasma gun I was showing off just now looks like. Also, yeah, AI looks different because that was an alpha test and now it's unstable. Where was it? Splitter adds 0.2 to 3% in accuracy and 15 to 60% damage. It fires 10 projectiles per shot. If there isn't enough maximum charge capacity, it fires as many projectiles as possible with the current charge and projectile setting. I haven't played with that, so let's play with that right now. So, magnetic splitter. And what does that look like? Let's actually turn on God mode for this. What does that look like? Not sure what that looks like. So it does charge use projectile. Aha! So this is your shotgun. So if we do this, damage per shot, damage of the projectile. Alright, let's try that. Alright, so the charges used per shot is 10. So basically just changes it like that. Let's chuck this against the rook again, just for giggles. I'm getting distracted, but that's because plasma is kind of fun. Oh, look at that! This bloody useless Siwas now, and absolutely terrible at range. Oh dear, yeah, this is, I'm just gonna remove the Siwas controller here. Let's get rid of that. So yeah, this is really terrible at range. Really terrible. Really, really terrible. Whee! Alright. What would happen if I just do this? Let's drop that down to 100. Hopefully. Wow, I still didn't see it. Alright, so those projectiles are still quite fast. Splat! Yay! Oh, I like this, actually. Alright, let's actually turn the inaccuracy down. Whee! Oh, I like that. That is a shotgun. Look at that. Cool, I like it. Alright, so debug visualization option added for plasma damage. And new debug character item added for creating plasma damage. Ooh, let's check that. So let's go inventory. Plasma. Yeah, where shall we do that? What's something I never usually use? I never use... Let's go there. Block naming, I never use that. So let's test that on our own fortress, because that's fun. Let's go here. Let's do 50,000 plasma damage and just make a huge explosion. Whee! Yay! Turrets being juggled. Okay then, so that's basically plasma cannons in a nutshell. I'm gonna hold off on making an actual tutorial of them until I'm sure the devs aren't going to do any major changes, just so people are wondering. And also I'm just going to, yeah, I'm going to get more familiar with them. There seems to be just broadly 3 kinds as determined by the emitters. But yeah, so I'm just going to, while we're just hanging around here, we're just going to have my little plasma boat that I made as a test vehicle just run around and do stuff. This might be one of the ugliest things I've ever made. It's just a little It's a little gremlin-y dude with a destabilizer plasma gun on it, and it's kind of a chunky hydrofoil. So let's have you fight the rook again, because that's fun. So pew 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 pew. Right, now let's talk about the other changes in this update, because there's actually a fair amount of other changes. Firstly, APS. All APS damage up by roughly 4.5%. I'm not entirely sure why that was done. APS didn't feel particularly underpowered, as far as I was aware, but you know what? It's not a huge change. It does mean that some footage I've already recorded is slightly out of date, but that's okay. Change hollow point AP modifier up from 1.15 to 1.2. I guess just a small change, because hollow point never felt particularly powerful. And we just lost our bloody rangefinder, didn't we? Okay. Add. Resting azimuth added to APS firing pieces and mantlets, along with a warning about when a mantlet is misaligned with the firing piece. The warning appears on the firing piece. And added an option to the APS UI to invert barrel spin direction. And that's just fun. It means you can have stuff, I guess. We are probably going to lose this fight, actually, because this isn't dodging cramshells as much as I would like. What can we talk about? Alright, so, pack. Particle cannons. Change. All particle cannons damage up by about 4.5%. Same diff. I didn't think they felt particularly underpowered, but okay, just, you know, they're stronger now. Great. Change. Durability of pack lenses improved. Okay, jolly good. How much so? How tanky are they now? So, I don't remember what they were before, but like 20,000 health is a lot. Melee pack lens, 1,000? Really? Durability, armor 40. Okay. Our poor turret. Okay, MISC. Alright, so there's a bunch of fixes I'm not going to read out, but just know there's a long list of stuff that's been fixed. But there's some additions. Addition. Modding. Added the ability to tint and scale the intensity of emission colors, so that's presumably for like smoke blocks and missiles and stuff like that. Modders take note. And also for modding, item duplicators can now define a class name override for the duplicate block. I'm not entirely sure what that means. Hopefully the people who know what that means know what that means. Change in the manual, updated the helicopter guide so it doesn't reference daddy blades anymore. Very nice, about time. Fix. AI! Alright, so this has been covered before, but ramming behavior has been changed a little bit. So let us just dive in here and mess with our stees, just so we're heard. So, ramming behavior has extra features here. So we've got direct, APN, and predictive guidance, like a missile, so to speak. I've talked about that more before. And direct is the old RAM behavior. That's basically what you need to know. And also in the RAM behavior, the various sliders in the RAM behavior UI now have larger values available in some cases to allow for things like disengaging the adjuster further away on very fast things, traveling further away before re-engaging, etc, etc, etc. Let's put broadside behavior back where it's supposed to be. Thank goodness Rambot is just saving the day here. How are we still... Oh, right, it's because Rambot's repairing stuff. Thanks, Rambot! Let's lock onto the turret again. There we go. Pew, 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 pew. Where are we? Point at behavior. New slider added for configuring the view cone to decide when to turn and face away to retreat. Set to 180 for reverse only. Oh, okay, so important note for front siders. Let's go here. Point at and view cone. There it is. There it is. Alright, I'm just do this again. Alright, let's do that. Okay. Also change. All-in-one local weapon controller now accept physical connections as well as wireless connections. Interesting. Oh, alright, so it means you can plonk it straight onto the... Ooh, let's just see that. Let's just build on our ship that's currently being shot at, because we're cool like that. Let's go here. Yeah, let's go receiver. You can, right, so it basically means you can turn the receiver off. That's nice. That's nice. Alright, let's turn God mode off again, because, again, we like to live dangerously. Let's lock onto the Rook, actually, and see Plasma do its work. This isn't a particularly strong plasma gun, by the way. It's taking its time dealing with this Rook. Change new models released for the AI components. Yeah, so you probably noticed that already. So local weapon controller, all-in-one local, it all looks different. It all looks white and shiny, which basically means that you can paint them whatever color you want, I tend to find. I like this. This looks kind of more high-tech, more science-y, and it's going to take some getting used to, but don't worry, we'll all get used to it. We will. We're tough. We'll do it. Let's lock onto the Rook, because fun. I really hope I didn't wake my flatmate up prematurely by talking. It is early in the morning-ish. Alright, breadboard. Added delay pulse countdown timer to breadboard. Can be manually reset with a button. Outputs a 1 when the countdown reaches 0. The Rook is falling to pieces. Whoops, that's a cram cannon. Alright, let's look at like so. Oh, hello. Yay, we won. The power of repair cheese. Right, you don't get to rest on your laurels, Miguel. You need to... What can we shoot at? If you shoot at any great talent, let's shoot at a Weaver, why not? Whee! Pew, 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 pew. I don't think this thing is armed. So that's fun. Yay! Zap, 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 zap. Alright, so... I'm not sure what the breadboard thing means, and there's a change. Stop behavior and maneuver select from activating on values less than 1. World Editor. You can now edit resources on values in the World Edit for adventure mode, so you can make your own adventure maps. Cram. Add. Resting azimuth added to cram firing pieces. Nice. Missiles have 2 fixes, which I'm not going to read out. Land. There's physics fixes, multiplayer fixes, sub-objects fixes, blocks fixes. Okay, well, plate, alloy, metal plate triangles down below correctly on a horizontal mirror. Change to poles. This is kind of important. Poles and pole hit calculations now use a perfect cylinder to calculate intersections rather than the quantized cylindrical mesh of the pole. I'm not sure what this will change exactly, so let's get a pole. So what does that mean? They don't look any different, so let's go here. I believe one of the things this should do is a... Alright, so it still has armor stacking. Let's see here. Interesting. Let's go here. Alright, so it's not touching at the edges anymore. I don't know if this will make Hull's better or worse armor. They were kind of just average before. And let's keep looking at our friend here. No, wrong. Everything. Buttons. Okay. What else? Adventure has changes. Change. Now a 10% higher chance for air portals to spawn. Neat. Ah, God. I keep hitting the wrong buttons. Whee! Alright. Change. Adventure has been entirely rebalanced. This is still a bit of an ongoing process past 50. Abye and Kotl, Keepers of the Lore, are dealing with it in the Adventure channel on the Discord if you want to help. Go forth if you want that. And their Steam gets a little fix. And campaign blueprints in neater. Big changes made. I hope that plasma cannons aren't too loud. That would be bad. Alright, so all designs are currently undergoing in-depth reviews of their spawn rates and parameters, material allocation, scuttling and adventure difficulty. Deepwater Guard, Onyx Watch and White Flares have been reviewed and updated, hence the large amount of blueprint committals. Going forward, here are the objectives. Compress the spawn distance of most designs to 800 to 1,700 meters. Designs have been found with as little as 300 up to 3,000 spawn distance. Adjust spawn multipliers and limits to more sensible levels. Some designs had a ×20 multiplier. Larger designs will have a somewhat higher spawn chance to work with the AI. Review and adjust scuttling for designs as necessary, updating old and missing values. Reviewing subcontracts will happen later on as reviewing these as time is unit. Okay, gotcha. All designs have now been updated with new adventure difficulty parameters. Some have had their scuttling and spawn parameters, such as limits and ranges, adjusted. Most designs have a spawn range from 800 to 1,700 meters, with larger designs being on the higher end of the spectrum, words. Exceptionally large designs of large carriers go above this limit, but are very few in number. Most average-sized designs had a spawn limit of 3, with smaller ones being 4 or more, and larger ones being 2. Larger designs have a somewhat higher spawn multiplier to accommodate the AI, but no longer at absurd numbers such as ×20 and ×50. Cargo craft have a spawn limit of 10. Every design should have proper scuttling, but some designs with sub-vehicles may have been missed. Updated material reserve limits for adventure mode. Okay, so now there's a huge long list of individual campaign craft which have been updated. And I'm not going to read those out because it's basically just, you know, making them better overall. However, there are some new additions, so there's things like, oh, the GOG, we haven't seen that. Let's see if our little guy can handle it. I don't think I've ever seen the GOG. Let's have a look at the GOG. Let's muck around a little bit. Let's have a look at the GOG. Hello. This could murder us. Oh, asymmetrical design. Interesting. It has missiles. We're going to die. And our little plasma gun doesn't have the AP to deal with this. What are these missiles loaded with? Ah, interesting. High explosive. You're going to have to do better than that. Actually, are we evenly matched with this thing? I hope not. This guy's not that expensive, and the GOG is quite expensive. Nope, we're definitely not gonna win. Cram cannons. Okay, get out of here. One thing I did really want to show off, though, it's the one thing because it has a special place in the hearts of many. The flying squirrel has been done over. So let me go find where the flying squirrel is, so I can... Here we go. Flying squirrel overhauled now spawns as a group of 3 with a new, more squirrel-like design and its godly difficulty. Yeah, so the flying squirrel is a real squirrel now. It's a real boy. It's a real boy. It's a real squirrel. It's fantastic. There they are. Look at this manic little bastard, and it's got large missiles on it. And if you thought this thing drove like crazy before, you ain't seen nothing yet. Like, plasma guns are having real trouble with it. Oopsie daisy. Alright. I don't actually know what these missiles are loaded with. I'm going to guess it's lots of high explosive. Yes! That is exactly what it's loaded with. Ouch. So, in case you thought just slapping a plasma gun would be enough to immediately make you invincible, I got news for you. I got news for you. Look at these these look great. I love them. Eee, kablooey. Oh no! The flying squirrels! They are squirreling me! They're so squirrely! Man, these things really are squirrely. This reminds me of like them flying squirrels from like the Mario games. They drive like... Okay, I feel sick. Alright, so that just about does it for this update. So 3.7.2, we've got plasma weapons, we've got a whole bunch of fixes. The campaign is got lots of stuff. And the squirrels have blinded us by blowing off all our detection. Oh no! Oh no, no. Alright, so closing remarks on plasma. It doesn't feel overpowered so far. And for the record, I don't think it's like in the tier list of weapons. APS is still king, still overall best weapon system just because of versatility. Plasma's really expensive, sucks at shooting at things underwater, and you can still dodge plasma shots as these squirrels are currently demonstrating. So, that just about does it. Thank you all so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Support me on Patreon or YouTube membership if you like. It really helps, and there's fun perks in it for you. Thank you to all my current supporters, and I'll see you next time in From the Depths. Plasma tutorial coming soon. Like, stay tuned for that. Farewell.